Welcome to YouTubepedia. Discover the greatest stories from history, science, and beyond. If you're curious about the world, subscribe now and join our journey through knowledge. Let's get started. Martin Luther King Jr., the legacy of a dreamer who changed the world. Early life and formative years. Martin Luther King Jr. was born on January 15, 1929, in Atlanta, Georgia. In a time of deep segregation and racial discrimination in the United States. Raised in the Jim Crow South, King grew up witnessing the harsh realities of racism and inequality that African Americans faced on a daily basis. His father, Martin Luther King Sr., was a prominent pastor and civil rights leader, and his mother, Alberta Williams King, was a school teacher and a strong advocate for education and social justice. From a young age, King was taught the importance of education, faith, and equality. He entered Morehouse College at just 15 years old, where he studied sociology and became deeply influenced by the teachings of nonviolent resistance, particularly the works of Mahatma Gandhi. This philosophy would go on to define King's approach to activism and leadership in the years to come. The emergence of a leader in 1955, at the age of 26, King's life took a dramatic turn when he became involved in the Montgomery bus boycott. The boycott was sparked by the arrest of Rosa Parks, a black woman who refused to give up her seat to a white man on a segregated bus in Montgomery, Alabama. King, who had recently been appointed as the pastor of the Dexter Avenue Baptist Church, was chosen to lead the boycott. Under his leadership, the boycott lasted for over a year and resulted in a Supreme Court ruling that declared segregation on public buses unconstitutional. The success of the Montgomery bus boycott propelled King into the national spotlight as a leader of the civil rights movement. He quickly became the face of the fight for racial equality and justice in America, advocating for peaceful protests, voter rights, and desegregation. The philosophy of nonviolence and civil disobedience. King's philosophy of nonviolence was deeply rooted in his Christian faith and his study of Gandhi's principles. He believed that love and peaceful resistance were the most powerful tools in the fight against oppression. King famously said, "We must meet hate with love," and he emphasized the importance of maintaining dignity and respect, even in the face of violence and injustice. One of King's most powerful moments came in 1963, when he led the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. Over 250,000 people gathered in the nation's capital to demand racial equality and economic justice. It was here that King delivered his iconic "I Have a Dream" speech, a moment that would go down in history as one of the most significant and moving addresses ever given in American history. In it, he envisioned a future where people would be judged not by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. The struggles and setbacks. While King's public life was filled with remarkable successes, it was also marked by numerous challenges and personal sacrifices. He was arrested more than 30 times for his participation in civil rights demonstrations, and he faced constant threats of violence and death. King's home was bombed, and his family lived under the constant threat of harm. Yet, despite the dangers, King remained unwavering in his commitment to nonviolent resistance. His efforts were not without controversy, even within the civil rights movement. Some leaders, such as Malcolm X and the Black Panther Party, criticized King for his insistence on nonviolence, arguing that more radical measures were needed to achieve equality. Despite these tensions, King continued to work tirelessly for his vision of a peaceful and just society. The hidden struggles and personal life. While Martin Luther King Jr. was a public figure of extraordinary strength, his personal life was not without its struggles and complexities. King's marriage to Coretta Scott King, while strong in its public image, was also challenged by the immense pressures and threats the couple faced. Coretta was deeply committed to the civil rights cause and often spoke out about her own experiences and the difficulties of being the wife of one of the most famous and threatened men in the world. In addition to his struggles with personal and familial stress, there were rumors and allegations of extramarital affairs. These allegations, though never fully proven, were part of the broader efforts by opponents of the civil rights movement to undermine King's credibility and leadership. The FBI, under the direction of J. Edgar Hoover, conducted extensive surveillance on King, attempting to discredit him and tarnish his reputation. In a series of covert operations, the FBI attempted to exploit personal aspects of King's life to derail his civil rights activism. Assassination and legacy. On April 4, 1968, Martin Luther King Jr. was tragically assassinated in Memphis, Tennessee, while supporting striking sanitation workers. His death was a devastating blow to the civil rights movement and to the nation as a whole. However, King's legacy lived on, inspiring future generations of activists and leaders to continue the fight for racial and social justice. His assassination was followed by national mourning, riots, and a renewed commitment to the cause he had championed. In 1983, President Ronald Reagan signed legislation creating Martin Luther King Jr. Day, a federal holiday that would be observed each year to honor King's life and legacy. The mystical and inspirational aspects of King's life, in addition to his visible legacy, there were also more mysterious and inspirational elements surrounding King's life. Many people have argued that King's ability to inspire change through peaceful means was, in part, due to his deep spiritual conviction and sense of divine purpose. King often spoke about feeling guided by a higher power and believed that he was part of a larger divine plan for the redemption of society. His unshakable faith in God and his belief in justice, even in the face of incredible danger, gave him the strength to continue his work even when all seemed lost. There were also strange and almost prophetic aspects to King's life. In his last speech delivered the day before his assassination, King famously said, "I've been to the mountaintop, and I've seen the promised land." Many have interpreted this as a forewarning of his imminent death, as if King knew that his time on earth was drawing to a close but that his message would live on. Conclusion. A dream that lives on. Martin Luther King Jr.'s life was marked by extraordinary achievements, profound sacrifices, and a deeply rooted commitment to justice. His message of nonviolence, equality, and love transcended race and continues to inspire movements for civil rights and social justice around the world. King's legacy is not just in the laws that were changed or the public spaces that were desegregated, but in the hearts and minds of the countless individuals who continue to fight for justice in his name. His dream of a world where people are judged by the content of their character rather than the color of their skin remains a guiding light for all who strive for equality and peace. Despite the challenges he faced, Martin Luther King Jr. will always be remembered not just as a man who fought for civil rights, but as a visionary who dreamed of a better world. A world that, even today, continues to inspire us all.